So today we have a very distinguished devotees with us, Brajnath Prabhu and his wife Vanda Didi. They need no introduction. Everybody in the Sangha knows them. He was always with Gurudev. Wherever Gurudev went, they were together with them. Still, I will say something about them. They met Gurudev in 1992 for the first time, and immediately thereafter they surrendered themselves with all their belongings and whatever they had, totally 100% into Gurudev's lotus feet, and then stayed with him forever. Never went back to their home country, Holland. And even now they are serving with their whole heart and all the endeavors. Vrinda Didi is also looking after all parikramas, all accommodation is looked after by her, both the parikramas for so many years. So we are very honored to have them here today. And we want to hear from them a lot of things about Gurudev because they know everything. They've always been with him everywhere, all over the globe. Wherever Gurudev went, they were like a shadow with him. So if anybody knows about Gurudev, it is them who know the most about Gurudev. So Prabhuji and Didi, you can start. Whoever wants to start first with how you met Gurudev, how life took you from Holland to Vrindavan, and then how you stayed back here forever, and how Gurudev captured your hearts, and how various leelas he did with you. We're very eager to hear everything. Sorry, I think you are muted. Wait, sorry. Can you unmute yourself, Prabhuji?
Yes. No, I'm okay now.
Yes.
Thank you, Ajay Prabhu, for organizing this nice Harikatha festival about the glories of Srila Gurudev. I am honored to be with all of you. I am not a liberated soul, but I was lucky to be in the association of Srila Gurudev for many years, also Vrinda. So we have received some mercy, some blessings that we want to share something with you tonight. Agyanati merandasya jananjana salakaya chakshurumiritam ena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarine Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swakadantika Naham Bande Tavacharanayar Dvandva Hetu Om Vipakam Gurum Apihari Narakam Napanetum Ramya Rama Mardutanuratanandane Nabirastum Bhave Bhave Hridaya Bhavane Bhavayeyam Bhavantam Tasya Apara Rasasara Vilasamurte Ananda Kandam Paramadbhuta Sokhya Lakshmi Brahma Diduravam Gatir Brisadvanujayo Kaim Karyam Eva Mama Janmani Janmanisha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Sri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha kalpa tarupyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So Ajay Prabhu is requesting us to speak something, how we met Gurudev and what happened, what we experienced.
Vijay, can you be a little louder? I think the voice is a little low. Or maybe come close a little bit. Yeah.
So
Yes, better.
Ajay Prabhu is asking us to share a little bit how we met Srila Gurudev and what happened after that, what are important moments, experiences for ourselves, myself and Vrinda as persons.
This is clear.
Is this clear enough?
Yes, now it's fine. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, good. So we were lucky in this life, although born in that is called Malaysia Desh, lowest place of the earth, under the sea level even.
Gurudev called it Holy Land. I was hearing the lecture and he said it is Holy Land. Cows everywhere. So you can't call it that way.
Well, at the time that we took birth, that was not yet holy. Yeah.
Oh, probably.
There was holes, a lot of holes, I can tell you. Hollow. Below sea level, there we took birth, and from young age, I think Brenda had also that inspiration. I was always fascinated with what is it that we call God. That was for me like a fascination, and I wanted to know who loves God. I want to also learn how to love God. So, after a lot of disappointments in the world of struggle, material strife, finally I decided to make a very serious attempt to pray to God and to ask for help. That time, he sent me Bhagavad Gita from Srila Prabhupada, and after some years, I was ready to join these crazy Hare Krishnas. Yeah. In the beginning, I did not really think I should do that, but after reading again and again Bhagavad Gita, and Srila Prabhupada explains how we cannot become a pure devotee of Krishna unless we associate with pure devotees. So then I thought, maybe there are pure devotees amongst these monks, who are followers of Krishna. So I should surrender and join them, and that was a very nice experience for many years. We stayed in the institution that Srila Prabhupada introduced from India. Actually, this is the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. But Srila Prabhupada gave such a nice outline and package and program that we felt like we were engaged 24 hours a day, chanting, distributing books, going out on the streets, and recruiting new people and making buildings, temples everywhere. It was a very nice experience. But there was no, inner, what I felt, satisfaction that there were really pure devotees that I had full faith in, except for Srila Prabhupada. That was our strength throughout the years. Although we received initiation, but the gurus themselves gave up the process of bhakti because it was not really so easy for them to be guru. Unless you are a pure devotee, just don't venture in that area. That is the advisable scriptures, and especially if we see the behavior and character of such great souls like Srila Prabhupada, who simply consider himself the servant of the servant of the servant, and simply bring the good news. So Srila Prabhupada kept us going, and he came more and more manifested in our heart. Although we never met him personally, I can say that I saw his picture from the beginning. When the first time I received Bhagavad Gita, it was in 1974, and I saw the picture of Srila Prabhupada on the back of the Bhagavad Gita, and he was like chanting and smiling in such a happy mood. Then my heart said, I want to have the same mood that this personality has. I want to become happy like him, yeah, always absorbed in loving God. So Srila Prabhupada entered our heart, and I can just, for that reason also, encourage all devotees, just meditate on pure devotees. Yeah, they may be physically present or not, but they will enter our hearts. It is guaranteed, because they are not mortal beings, conditioned souls. They are beyond matter. They can enter the heart of all living entities. Even the beautiful prayer, yeah, of Sri Sutta Goswami is there. Yeah, that transcendental personality, he is able to enter the hearts of all living entities. So especially hearing the glories of Srila Prabhupada, it made such a impact upon my heart and also Vrinda's, that we decided that whatever happens the rest of our life, we simply take shelter with Srila Prabhupada. And when it comes to initiation, we'll just wait till next life. Then, or 100 lives, I am ready to wait. But I'm not going to go for, someone who is not a pure devotee, because it doesn't work. Yeah. So here we go. And then lo and behold, yeah, what manifested, which was like unbelievable, because we heard all the time there will never ever be anyone like Srila Prabhupada. There, he was the last one, the only one like Jesus, whatever they wanted to tell us. So better you take initiation from us, but I did not agree, and neither did Vrinda. So then we heard the glories of Srila Gurudev, how he was helping the devotees in ISKCON from beginning after Srila Prabhupada, and even before that. We heard his glories, how he was connected with Srila Prabhupada from 1946, and how he was helping ISKCON through so many difficulties, and how he was teaching the leaders, the gurus in ISKCON, what is bhakti, especially what is Raganuga bhakti, what is proper bhajan. And the most amazing thing was when I was hearing his glories and reading his teachings, which manifested time to time in the journals in ISKCON. And then I found out that he doesn't give initiation. Then I felt overjoyed. I thought, oh, I feel safe with such a person who doesn't run after followers, yeah, who simply wants to help everyone like a friend. That was Gurudev's mood. So in my heart I was praying, I hope I will meet him very soon. But I did never tell anything to Vrinda, because I did not want to convince her about my own internal meditation. But it happened so that by Krishna's arrangement, and especially the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we both were able to meet Srila Gurudev in a very beautiful environment and circumstances. And that was in 1992 in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. We met Srila Gurudev. We were just 5, 6 of us, and he was sitting in the room. And we were invited by a very nice devotee who knew Srila Gurudev. And she told us, I want you to meet someone who is just like Prabhupada. Yeah. She saw us when we were in Radha Damodar during Kartik festival, and there were the glories of Srila Prabhupada. They were shared by the devotees who were with us on Parikrama. And then we were very moved, because what Prabhupada did is like, it's a miracle, and he is really the Acharya for all Western devotees, but also Indian devotees. He made a platform, and he set such a beautiful structure for helping and organizing the teachings of Mahaprabhu to become available to all living entities. Only a little fine-tuning is necessary, and Gurudev, I will hopefully share that with you. He provided that fine-tuning in such an amazing way that if we can remember that, then our life will be successful. And what to speak if we can meditate and contemplate how we can fulfill that beautiful desire of Srila Gurudev, which is not different from the desire of Srila Prabhupada. So meeting Srila Gurudev in Radha, in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, in 1992, in September. So I want to ask Vrinda to share a little bit what happened when we met Gurudev. You remember, Vrinda?
Yeah, when we came into Rup Sanatan Math, I met Gurudev actually much earlier than that in Krishna Balaram Mandir. That was in 87. I heard his first discussion in public. That was on the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. And I was there because I was in ISKCON at that time, also doing Brajmandal Parikrama with Lokanath Swami at that time. And then when I heard Gurudev speaking amongst all the exalted speakers who were invited there, like Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Jivan Janardhan, so many were there. But a very nice thing is Gurudev spoke in English, which was very good. And then I made so many notes. Gurudev was talking about how he met Srila Prabhupada in Radha Damodar, how they exchanged things, how they were making chapatis and all these things. And I was so fascinated. Wow, there's someone who knew Prabhupada even before Prabhupada came to the West. So I made so many notes, and then I sent those notes to Brajanath Prabhu, who was in Holland at that time. And then later I found that, much later, I found my notes in 94, after we actually took initiation from Gurudev. And then I realized, my goodness, that's the same Narayan Raj I took initiation from later on. I totally forgot about those notes. But then later I also met Srila Gurudev during the parikrams, when we stayed in Mathura with Brajamandal Parikram, Lokanath Swamis. And then we also met Gurudev in the Mat, Keshavji Gaudiya Mat, a few times. And I was just so fascinated by Srila Gurudev. But then, as he said, in 92, that was our first private darshan with Srila Gurudev. We were only 5 people. We were there. And I remember when Gurudev asked Prabhu, so who are you? What is your name? What are you doing? What is your service? So then we gave a whole list of what we did at that time, because at that time he was president of the Amsterdam Temple. Yeah, 92 we still, or not? You still, no, I think. Anyway, and then we did Food for Life, and we did Namhata and book distribution, and on and on and on. So then, and then Gurudev was asking Prabhu, so what is the reason why Mahaprabhu came? So then he gave some answers, and what did you answer?
Well, first of all, Gurudev, when he asked me, who are you and what are you doing?
Mhm.
Then, like Vrinda said, I gave the whole list. And then Gurudev said, he looked at me and he said to me, first you become Krishna conscious, he said, and then you have. So that was like for me, when Gurudev said that, it made upon my heart such a strong impression, like an arrow, you know. Although we read it in the scriptures and we hear it from so many people, become Krishna conscious. But when Gurudev said it, it was like piercing my heart, and I felt like, wow, I'm going to follow this saintly person, even if I never meet him again, but I'm going to follow his advice and become first Krishna conscious. Yeah. But I will try to meet him again. That was my firm conviction. I will do everything to meet him again and become his student. Yeah. I was not thinking about initiation because I heard that he did not give initiation. And then I felt like this instruction or this advice that Gurudev gave, first become Krishna conscious, it is with me every day actually, because still I'm not Krishna conscious. But I see that by meditating upon this advice, this instruction, it keeps me in the morning especially and in the evening very nicely connected with Srila Gurudev and with the conceptions that he has implanted within my heart and he is giving to all of us in his beautiful teachings. But the impressions that I've received from him and still receiving more and more, that helps me to really meditate. This is the first and foremost instruction that I need in my life, to always remember I should become Krishna conscious, because I am Badajiv, I am not liberated soul. Yeah. So it is essential And as much as I developed in my own Krishna consciousness, I realized that more and more I can give a little encouragement to others. But other than that, I should not in any idea have any idea that, oh, I am Krishna conscious. Yeah, I need to always remind myself. And it is such a beautiful process, because I noticed that if I look back 40 years, I think now almost 40 years, that we met Srila Gurudev. And where I am now, 92, not 30 years? Yeah, 30 years, yeah, 29 years. Where I am now, then I see that although at the time that I met Gurudev, I was completely in Maya. Now I have some better idea what is my position. Some improvement is there. I can definitely see that by Gurudev's mercy. And I'm very happy, because it is such a nice process to become more and more Krishna conscious. And Gurudev said the final, that is what he shared with all of us, but he said the final completion of all our endeavors to make progress in bhakti, what we call diksha or initiation, it will take place, he said, when we take birth in the Prakat Lila of Radha and Krishna. Then final examination, he said, final training, and then we will be Krishna conscious. So that teaching that Gurudev gave at that time, it is such a beautiful jewel for me. Vrinda wants to share something.
And also what he explained was the last sloka of Upadeshamrita. Remember that? When we were in our last first meeting with him, he was explaining this sloka.
Not the last sloka, the 8th sloka.
The 8th sloka, sorry.
Sanama rupa charitari sukirtanana smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyodya. Tistam brajeda anuragi yananagami kalam nayat iti upadesha saram. Srila Gurudev explained this beautiful prayer to us. And he also explained, Aradhyo Bhagavan Braje Sataniya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kastit Upasana Brajivagur Vargena Yakalpitaha Srimad Bhagavatam Ramanam Amalam Prema Puma Tomahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradayo Naparaha. This prayer, and he also explained very nicely, Anarpita Charin Chirat Karunayavatina Kalavam Sarmat Paritun Unata Uchvala Rasam Swabhakti Sriyam Hari Purat Sundara Duti Kadamba Sandipitaha Sadari Daye Kandares Puratu Va Sachinandana. These 3 prayers Gurudev started to share with us. He asked us, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come? And then we replied, to distribute the holy names. And then he said, he was laughing.
You replied, I didn't do that.
I said that, Vrinda was a little shy. But anyhow, that was what we understood. And it is true. But Gurudev started laughing. And he said, okay, he said. And then he explained, there is much more. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is a very deep reason why he came. And he came really to relish the Prem Rasa, Niryasa, Korite Ashvadan. And he came to distribute something that is called Raga Marga, Bhakti Loka Korite Pracharan. Not only that, he said, he is the most magnanimous, most merciful manifestation that has ever appeared. He has come to distribute for free what has never ever been distributed before since a long, long time. That is the beauty of the service of Radha and Krishna's conjugal Kunja Seva. That is Manjari Bhava. So when Gurudev explained all these things, then we were like, the ears were like, wow, I was thinking that I have never heard these things. And then we were left with such a beautiful impression. And after that, I think I had to go back to Europe.
Yeah, we both went.
Both went back. But I made a firm decision to keep connected with Srila Gurudev. So we continue to hear and see who are related with Srila Gurudev. We met the devotees in England, and we helped a little bit with book printing. And these books are so valuable, I tell you, Nectar of Govinda Lila and Bhakti Rasayan and Going Beyond Vaikuntha. These are the lectures that Srila Gurudev spoke on Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And they're so amazing and so valuable. When I read those lectures, I felt like, wow, I never read such beautiful descriptions. How sweet is Krishna? And of course, we all know that's what Gurudev came to give, that when we have to go ahead, but that will happen. I think that, many devotees have interviewed me, and once I start, then it will take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and yeah, because there is so much to share. But really, we all heard when Srila Gurudev came to Western countries.
No, don't skip too much. Now, initiation, 93.
Okay,
He's
Vrindavan.
just keeping a check on you.
Just keep the sequence, otherwise you jump.
No, but I want to share something which is very valuable, which is essential for everyone. Because when Gurudev came to Western countries, then many devotees said, there is a difference between you and Srila Prabhupada. And Gurudev said, yeah, you may think like that. He had brown eyes, I have blue eyes. He said,
Yes.
he doesn't have a beard, I have a beard, he said.
And he says, always remember Krishna.
He
and
said,
I say,
always remember Krishna, and I say, never forget Krishna. Yeah.
Yes.
Really, Gurudev said, one thing you should know, and if you can understand this, then you understand that there is no difference between me and Srila Prabhupada. He said, your Srila Prabhupada came and he taught you that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I'm telling you, you should forget this. Yeah. If you can understand this, Gurudev said, then you understand really, that there is no difference between me and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada published the Nectar or the Krishna book, and in that Krishna book he beautifully describes the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. But everywhere he mentions Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Person, Supreme Personality. But Gurudev, he had to establish that. Yeah, Gurudev said, when you want to become expert in playing the piano, first you have to learn how to use all the different, keys.
Yes.
But he said, but once you've learned that, you don't need to worry about it anymore. It goes automatically. So he said, in the beginning, you have to learn that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But after some time, forget it, he says. So in his books, Srila Gurudev is so sweetly narrating how there is Aishwarya and Madhurya, two types of pastimes of Krishna. And Braja Lila is full of Madhurya. There Krishna is no, in any way, even if he tries to tell anyone that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nobody believes him. Even if Gops and Gopis try to remind Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya, that your son is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they say, yeah, you may think, and he may, but he is, more than anything, he's our son. You can tell me anything, but God doesn't lie, he doesn't steal, he doesn't do all these things. So really, he is our son. Yeah. So like that, Gurudev made that very, very clear. So after 1 year, associating with the devotees, again, we made it to Braj. And still we were quite active in ISKCON. Yeah. And I did not tell anything to Vrinda even, that I wanted to take full shelter with Srila Gurudev. I felt that it should be her own decision. But luckily, when I arrived in Braj and Vrinda had gone ahead of me a few weeks, I found out that she was already in Mathura, although she was officially meant to be in the Parikrama with ISKCON, but somehow or other she had landed in Mathura with Srila Gurudev.
She's ahead of you all the time.
Yeah, always ahead.
You're catching up with her.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what happened then, Vrinda? What happened?
No, I don't know. You continue.
How did you?
Yeah, I want to say one thing about your coming to Gurudev. Is that you had in your heart desire to look for a pure devotee. Even Gurudev had a desire. He was looking for a pure disciple like you. Because before you came, I heard once, I was sitting with him in Mathura. And that time he was just starting to get very busy, going everywhere. So he said, oh, I need a person who can look after all my affairs, my tickets and travel. I can't do so much. I just heard him say that. And within 1 month, you appeared from somewhere. I don't know how. He just wanted a person like you and you appeared.
Actually, that will happen. I will tell you what happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Vrinda wants me to continue.
Yes, Vrinda
So,
Devi.
1993, I came to India and I had a strong desire to meet with Srila Gurudev and just take shelter. I did not think about initiation. I just felt I want to just become a student and learn about pure bhakti because that was always on my heart. What is pure bhakti? There is so many types of religion and so many types even of bhakti, but pure bhakti is really, I think, the conclusion of all types of bhakti. I didn't know what it was, but I wanted it. Yeah. So here I come to Vrindavan and I heard that Vrinda is in Mathura. So the first thing I do is at once go to Mathura. Yeah. And I hadn't been in Mathura maybe once in my previous visits to India. So I thought Mathura is not so far and let me find out how to get there. And what is the cheapest way? Because we are, you know, when you're born in Holland, you turn every cent before you spend it. Yeah. So I thought, what is the cheapest way? So I found a Tonga, by Tonga, yeah, a small horse pulling like a little cart. And so here I was on the Tonga and it took so long, but all the time I was praying, oh, I thought it was closer, but anyhow, we're progressing. And then the horse had to drink something and eat something. And then anyhow, finally, we arrived in Mathura. I arrived there. I came to the mud and I asked the devotees there, are there any Western ladies here? Yes. Is Srila Narayan Maharaj here? Yes. So then I went to look for Vrinda and I saw Vrinda was in one room with 8 ladies. Yeah. A small room. And there were 4 boys also. There was a curtain in the middle. It was not a very big room. And I saw all were smiling. And I thought, this is unbelievable. 8 ladies in one room and all are happy. Normally ladies need their private rooms. Yeah. So I thought, I don't know what's going on here, but something magic is here. I felt the atmosphere was so thick and so much permeated with a very special fragrance. So when I asked Vrinda, how are you? She said, I'm very happy. Yeah. And I became so happy. So I went to see Srila Gurudev and then I asked him that, oh, I'm so thankful that you look after Vrinda. Yeah, that time she had another name and Gurudev was smiling. Yeah. And then I was exchanging a little bit with him. And then I felt in my heart, oh, I want to ask him that he can accept me as a student, but I'm not alone with him. I want to be private with him. So let me come back tomorrow. And before I ask him, I will first ask some of my friends in ISKCON if I make the right decision. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I went back to ISKCON, stayed overnight and asked 4 or 5 devotees who were all gurus, like Burijan Prabhu and Danudas Prabhu and Ayodhyapati. I asked them, I am willing, I am desiring to learn everything about pure bhakti under the guidance of Srila Narayan Maharaj. What is your advice? And they looked at me. Ayodhyapati said, oh, he will make you cry the rest of your life. Then I felt like, wow, that's what I want. Yeah. Then I went to the next one, Burijan Prabhu. And he said, he is just like Prabhupada. He said, we are also gurus. He said, but we have to convince someone. They have to follow 6 months, 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds. And even then, they have no faith in us. He said, we have to convince them to have faith in us. And even then, we cannot give them initiation. But Srila Narayan Maharaj, like Prabhupada, in a moment, he can instill faith in the heart of anyone. Yeah. So you're very lucky, he said, that you are taking shelter with Srila Narayan Maharaj. So I went back that next day to Srila Gurudev, and I waited outside his room till he came out. That was after 8 o'clock in the evening. And he was chanting a little bit, walking in the temple room. And then I went up to him and I paid my respects and I asked him, may I ask you any question? He said, yes. He said, um, I want to learn about pure bhakti. I said, will you accept me as your student? Then he looked at me and he said, I don't know anything about pure bhakti, he says. And then he said, I am old man and my English is not good. Then I said to him, I replied, I am convinced that you know everything about pure bhakti, I said. And I don't mind whatever language you speak. I don't see you as old man. Then he started to laugh. And then he said, come tomorrow morning, he says. Yeah. Then I thought, wow, tomorrow morning. Then I went to Vrinda and I said, I'm going to take initiation tomorrow morning. I said to her, yeah. Gurudev invited me to come and bring some, yeah, flowers, whatever was necessary. Then Vrinda said, oh, I said, if you want, you can join me. She said, oh, I'm not ready yet, she says, yeah. I said, well, you have one night to think about it, yeah. So she also agreed. And the next morning we went to Srila Gurudev, but we had to go that day on parikrama. So
No, not a parikrama.
there was a festival, installation festival in Gokul.
Gokul. There was some deities that were destroyed and they had to be reinstalled.
Installed, yeah,
So
new
we
deities.
had to go there.
So then finally in the afternoon, we were the two of us with Srila Gurudev, and he gave initiation and Diksha, everything, and that was very sweet. And then he told me, I want you to always be with me. Yeah.
Wow.
By hook or by crook, he says. Then I felt like, how does he read my heart? Yeah.
Wow,
And
beautiful.
I felt overjoyed, really, that he was so kind to me. And from that moment onwards, yeah, we had one doubt actually. He said, do you have any questions? Then we said, yeah, we have one doubt I told him. He said, please speak out. And I said, before we met you, I was completely contemplating and meditating always on Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. And he has completely occupied my heart. I said, but now I don't know what's happening. Since meeting you, I said, I don't know what to do now. Because I have only one heart, and who should I give it to? Then Gurudev started laughing. Yeah. He said, when we practice spiritual life, he said, and we meet one very beautiful devotee, and he completely captivates our hearts. He said, he occupies that heart completely. We are so lucky. But he said, what happens then? After that, we meet another beautiful, pure devotee, he said. And then when really we are practicing spiritual life, he said, then our heart becomes bigger and we accommodate that pure devotee also. And he said, actually, spiritual life is such a thing that we will meet so many amazing personalities, he said. All our previous acharyas, he said, they are all waiting to come in your heart. He said, simply hearing their glories and hearing their teachings, especially Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all these amazing personalities, they are alive, Gurudev says. They are not dead. And they want to be in your hearts. They want to be your friend and protect you, protect your bhakti, and help you progress forever and end up in the spiritual realm, in the Braja, what we call Goloka Aprakat, dimension where there is only pure, spontaneous, loving relationships with Sri Krishna. So when Gurudev said that then for Navadip Mandal and Braja Mandal, and we start to
Prabhuji, you're cutting off.
small room. We had some
Haribol.
real estate. Yeah. We moved to
Are you
Mathura.
there? Wait.
You were cutting off in
Yeah,
between.
now
Can you repeat the last part?
Yeah. After that,
Ik moet ook even vertellen hoe dat komt.
okay, Vrinda wants to share a little bit. Come, Vrinda.
Yeah, just quickly, because yeah, first time, and And then Gurudev, and then he said, oh, she's my wife. And then he looked at me, Gurudev, you know, like this. And he said, ah, your wife? You know, and he was looking like, no, you're not his wife, you're mine, you know. So I remember that look Gurudev, you know, had to me that really I'm his, you know, I'm his possession. And it's just a matter of time and he will catch me fully. So that was my first impression of Srila Gurudev. And then when I was in Mathura, actually it's interesting because I was so much, you know, I was really in duality because when we were in ISKCON, all these 14 years, we were trained like, you know, you have to be loyal to Prabhupada, loyal to ISKCON. And going to Narayan Maharaj means, wow, my God, you're not loyal to Prabhupada nor to ISKCON anymore. So that was such a big issue for me because I really wanted to be loyal to Prabhupada. I indebted everything to him. So I remember that year, 93, just before we got initiation, I went to Prabhupada's Samadhi in Krishna Mandir. And I was sitting there and I was praying to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you know, I want to actually, I want a living guru, you know, and I want no one else but you, but what to do? I met Narayan Raj and now, is he okay? What do you, please, you know, what should I do? And then I was sitting and praying to Prabhupada and then suddenly the Pujari stood in front of me with a garland from Srila Prabhupada's Murti. And then he said, oh, this is for you from Srila Prabhupada. So he gave me that garland while I was praying. And then I thought, my God, that sounds like he's approving. But I wanted to be sure, of course. And then I went outside, I was really excited. And the first person I bumped into was Shamrani,
Oh, wow.
Shamrani Didi. So I said, Shamrani, or Yadurani at that time, I said, you know, I was praying to Prabhupada and I got this garland. And so what do you think? Is it yes or no? Is it, she says, of course, it's whatever you prayed, it's approved. And then she said, by the way, what were you praying? And I said, well, I met Narayan Raj and I'm thinking, considering to take shelter of him. I want to go to Mathura. I'm invited to go for the parikrama. And then she said, oh, you said, don't delay. You should go at once. Go there. But don't tell anyone I told you. So that's why I went to Mathura before he came. And then he came from Holland. And I was there in the mud and joined the parikrama. So that was so beautiful. 93, that was our first Brajamama Parikrama. We had only 2 buses. Very, very nice. And Gurudev was sitting in the ladies' bus because he loved all these Braj Basi kirtans from the ladies. And we had so many beautiful stories. I mean, that goes on and on. But that first time when we met Gurudev, we were just a few of us in the mat. And then he gave us darshans and everything was in Hindi. That was, for me, not so easy to understand because I didn't know Hindi. So I was clinging to Umadidi. Umadidi, what did he say? What did he say? And Umadidi was so kind to me, explaining everything in Hindi, in English to me. And so it was such a beautiful year, that first year on Parikrama. And then I stayed over winter while he went back to Holland till Navadvip Parikrama. And so let's continue from there.
Very nice.
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah, so many things happened when I start thinking about it.
Oh, wait a minute, that's important. Because then we got initiation, I was also, so then before initiation, I was dreaming again about Prabhupada and Gurudev, and both came in my dream. And first Gurudev came, then Prabhupada, then Gurudev and Prabhupada, and then together. And then together in my dream, they had a big smile from ear to ear, and they both put their hands like this.
Oh, together, huh?
But okay, whoever wants to convince me I'm not loyal anymore, but I think this is really true. And then I went to Gurudev, and then I said, Gurudev, can I still do, I noticed that we don't do Prabhupada's via Guru Puja, because in ISKCON 7 o'clock was always Guru Puja to Prabhupada. I said, can I still do Guru Puja to Prabhupada? And Gurudev said, yes, of course, you can do. And when you do, you should also invite me. And then I join you. Like that. So he was so much encouraging us, to be, to still accept Prabhupada in our heart, and that Gurudev is helping us. And of course, Gurudev became our main guru. But I very much appreciated how Gurudev was dealing with us to overcome this step from ISKCON to Gaudiya Math.
Yes. No. Gurudev, if I just start thinking about it, how that is really Krishna's mercy, that someone comes in our life and completely captivates us and pulls us in, one by one and closer and closer. When Gurudev said that, I want you to always be with me, then I was like over the moon. And I thought, but now how is this going to happen? And I'm like a person who likes to observe and to see. And when there is an opportunity, I go for it. So here Gurudev is inviting me, and so I was thinking, how can I always be with him?
And what service can you
And
do?
then I have to do some service. Just being with him like a mosquito, that is no use for that. But I should be with him and render some service. So what service can I do? Then I was thinking, let me observe what is going on around him. And then I saw day and night brahmacharis, 3, 4, constantly.
Cooking,
One is managing, and then correspondence, everything. Always in the room with Gurudev. And I felt like, well, if I do something that one of these brahmacharis is doing, that's not going to work, because then that devotee doesn't have service anymore. So I should do something which others are not doing. So I started to think, what is better? And in the meantime, Gurudev became more and more like he was seeing me. And, he is that is the quality of a real guru. He has a special interest in each and every one of us. So he was seeing my endeavors, and then I asked Srila Gurudev, he said, can I do any service for you? He said, yeah, what can you do? I said, well, only by your mercy I can do something, but I have some experience in book publishing and in book distribution. Oh, he said, then you can take full responsibility for my book publication, for English. And I felt like, wow, this is like, now I have a responsibility. And coming from the background of ISKCON, it means when any authority gives you a responsibility, then everyone is going to take it very serious. So Gurudev said, you organize the book publishing, call them all together, and you organize it. So I asked all the devotees who were involved in English book publishing to sit together and let's make a plan how we can, be more successful in publishing, what help is necessary, anyhow, what we can do. So when I called them all together in the room, and then I told them,
Prem Vilas
Prabhu, Vichitri, Tunga, yeah, they did amazing service, all these devotees. So here I sit with them, and I said, well, Srila Gurudev has told me to take responsibility for the book publication and distribution. And then they looked at me and they all started laughing, and I thought, wow, what's going on here? Then I realized that no one is going to take you serious here in this Sangha unless you have a personal relationship with them. Because they all have that with Srila Gurudev. And Gurudev tells them, you translate this book, you publish this book. And it was really like that. And I was later on observing, sometimes Gurudev would tell devotees, the same instruction, what can you do? And the devotee, I can translate from Hindi to, okay, you translate Manasiksha. Then he comes out of the room and says, Gurudev just gave me the order to translate Manasiksha in English. And then 5 hours later, another devotee comes and Gurudev asking, so can you do some service for me? Yes, what can you do? I can translate from Hindi to, and then you do Manasiksha. You are fully responsible. So this devotee comes out of the room. He says, Gurudev gave me the order. I have to translate Manasiksha in English. Whereas the other devotee had just received the same order 5 hours earlier. So what Gurudev really wanted us to learn to adjust with each other and cooperate and be united with love and affection. That was one of his main, if not, I would say, his second most important desire. And many times I see that devotees do not understand how to apply this. How can we be united with love and affection? Just saying that is like very easy. Oh, let's all be united with love and affection. But really, it requires much more, because bhakti is a process that requires cultivation, dedication, commitment. So if we want to be united, we need to learn with commitment to how to communicate with each other, how to understand each other, how to support each other, and how to accept each other, even though we are not perfect. Yeah, we have sometimes we are a little afraid. Yeah, that, oh, if I check in with others, they find out that I have so many shortcomings. But we should feel that we have to, for Gurudev's pleasure, learn to be with each other and support each other, no matter what it takes, and be committed. So Gurudev taught all these beautiful lessons, yeah, from the beginning. And in the meantime, I was still not completely satisfied, because I felt Gurudev wants me to be with him 24 hours. So I'm not there yet. How am I going to get there? Yeah. Then I was observing, and I asked the devotees, did any one of you ever invite Srila Gurudev to go to Western countries? Then the devotees replied, the English devotees, yes, we invited him, but we cannot really get anything together. We are not so expert. And he said he would like to come once at least, because Srila Prabhupada has invited him, but we never got together. Then I asked the ISKCON leaders who were coming to Srila Gurudev at that time, Tamo Krishna Maharaj and others. I asked him, did you ever invite Srila Narayan Maharaj to come to the Western countries? And they said, yes, we did. But I said, but what? Yeah, what happened? Oh, we made a big blunder mistake, they said. We were so much eager to invite him to visit the ISKCON temples everywhere in the world and see what glories Srila Prabhupada has established by presenting the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and have him help all the devotees. But we made such a mistake. I said, what mistake did you make? He said, well, we told him that he cannot speak about Guru Tattva and Jiva Tattva, yeah, unless he accepts what the GBC has decided. And then Srila Narayan Maharaj became so angry with us, he told us to go out of the room and never show our face again anymore. So luckily we asked forgiveness, is that, and he has accepted us again. But when they presented that to Srila Gurudev, Gurudev said, I will only speak what I have learned from my Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I will not teach anything what you people have decided by majority vote. Yeah, I know what is Jiva Tattva, what is Guru Tattva. So we never were able to invite him, they said. Then I thought, wow, here is my golden chance. So I spoke, because I had in the meantime discovered, if anything you want to accomplish with Srila Gurudev, you need to connect with Madhav Maharaj. Yeah. That time he was brahmachari, because he was like so protective of Gurudev. And I thought, if I can win Madhav Maharaj or Naveen Krishna, then Gurudev will agree. So
Good strategy.
Yeah. So I spoke with Madhav Maharaj. I said, Maharaj, Prabhu, what do you think if I can invite Srila Gurudev to come to the Western countries? I have some experience. I can organize things, programs in Europe for a few months, no problem. And I saw that time Naveen Krishna, he was so enthusiastic. I think he had also a strong desire to come to the Western countries and to bring Srila Gurudev's Harikatha and his amazing personality to come and help the devotees. So he was super enthusiastic. So then I went to Srila Gurudev, and Madhav Maharaj, Navi Krishna Brahmachari backing me up, and I asked Gurudev that if you want, I can organize some preaching programs in Europe. Yeah.
In America, England.
America was already kind of waiting to jump in, England also. So then Gurudev said, He looked at me, he said, I really like to be in Braj, he said, but I can go for one time, he says. Yeah.
Then explain also that you were part of the
Wait.
team of
Wait.
Centennial.
It's coming, it's coming, yeah. So Gurudev said then to me, he said, I will go on one condition, he says, because he said, I don't know what is management. He said, all the problems, all the responsibilities are on your head, he says. Tickets, visas, programs, where I stay, how to go from one place to another. He said, I am only like a muti, he says. Wherever I go, I will just simply speak Harikatha. I don't even want to know where we are going, he says. You bring me wherever you want me to go, and I'll speak Harikatha. Then I felt so overjoyed that now, wow, it is going to happen that I can render some service.
Seva. You got a lot of seva.
And
Can be
with
more
him,
good,
right.
more close with Gurudev. Now, in the meantime, Vrinda was typing in Mathura. You were typing Hindi. Oh.
Yeah, because I also thought I'm in the temple. I don't know what service I can do in Mathura because ladies are not so much at that time could not do so much service. And then I looked at Shanti, and Shanti was already there. And I asked Shanti, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm doing Hindi." And then I thought, "Oh my God, that's a good idea. If I learn how to help Gurudev with his publication in Hindi, then I have some service to do, and I can stay near the temple." So then I learned typing Hindi. And then the first book Gurudev gave me to type, to retype, actually was the Jaiva Dharma. And
Wow, you did that Hindi typing?
yeah. So
wow, I didn't know that. Great.
So by the mercy of Gurudev and
Super.
Abba Krishna Prabhu and other devotees, I was trying to be a little helpful. Anyhow, so go ahead.
Yeah, at that time when we came in the mouth, there was a phone and the phone didn't work very well.
Something.
There was only one phone, landline. There was no computers. There was no.
I remember that phone which was locked all the time.
Yeah.
In the corner.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
Titumar's room.
So what
Yeah.
happened? We brought the first. There was not even a sewing machine. You know, in Europe we have these sewing machines that are outdated. So we brought some sewing machine and a small. The first typewriter we brought also a typewriter. There was no typewriter.
Because Gurudev was corresponding with the telegrams, you know, these blue letters.
Aerogram.
Aerogram, right. And then the devotees were typing out, so we gave a typewriter.
And we brought the first like laptop computer, the small, you know, very small laptop. And Gurudev, wow. And then he said, you can do my correspondence. And then we started from there, you know, and then finally more Westerners came. And although the Mat was such a nice place, I cannot tell you how sweet and fragrant and so thick the atmosphere, but more Westerners came and money came and you know, mobile phones, and you know, it's just destroying bhakti. Yeah, I'm very sorry to say that, but it is true. Yeah. At that time, Gurudev would speak 4 times a day, Harikatha, and everything was like, you was like in the clouds, you know, you were not thinking about this world anymore. And no connection with this world because no phone, no internet, nothing. And when all these things came, then so much, you know, obstacles are coming. Unless we know how to use them, but those who can do that, they are rare. Yeah, it requires great expertise to do that. So when now, what happened in 1996, there was the centennial of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And I was in the committee from 1990, perhaps 5-6 years before they started already. Mm-hmm. I was one of the members of the committee, and there was several petals that were services for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. And one of the petals of the lotus was to make a Sankirtan party that would travel all over the world and inspire all the devotees who had become weak, who had lost their inspiration for whatever reason, to make them again feel at home, that they are with Prabhupada's family and they become inspired again. So that was my responsibility. And now what happened?
Prabhu, that was reuniting Prabhupada's family.
Right.
Exactly. I wanted to
Reuniting
say that.
Prabhupada's family.
One of the petals. And also Padayatra, we did that also.
Yeah,
It
but
was
that
also
was
one of the petals.
yeah, but this was the main petal
Yeah,
that I
petals
want
too.
to share with all of us
Yeah.
today. Because then when Gurudev was ready to go, we were ready to go in 1996. That was Prabhupada's centennial year. And we were with the Kirtan party. I mean, we had these Kirtanias, you know, with us. Krishnadas Prabhu was the main Kirtania. Yeah, although he didn't come on the first tour, but he came the second tour. And the first tour, of course, Gurudev is the Kirtanya. Yeah, that is the topmost Kirtan that Gurudev presented. And how he inspired so many devotees to again be united and to follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings. It was amazing. So after the first tour,
So you thought that this is your service to Srila Prabhupada's
Yes.
centennial, to actually have Gurudev go everywhere to inspire and reunite Prabhupada's family. And that's actually one of Gurudev's main purpose, to reunite and to inspire Prabhupada's
yes,
disciples.
that was
And there
a
were 4 reasons you said why
yeah, yeah.
Gurudev wanted
So,
to come. Just don't too much.
Brinda's helping me. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how much time we have because it is
Probably
already-
you have enough time. We want to hear everything. It's only 9:15. You can go until 10. Yes.
but I'm just starting now, so I don't know if yeah.
Where is that picture which you sent us? Gurudev is in a hammock and you are looking at.
Why?
Oh, that was in
Why?
No, sure.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. He's sitting like this. Close.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So what happens in the meantime? Vrinda was serving so nicely to Gurudev, and of course she has her own personal relationship with Srila Gurudev. And Gurudev, he was such a amazing, you know, father for all his children, but especially his daughters. He would always call them Kyare Beti, yeah, or darling daughter. So whenever Gurudev saw me, he was calling me Jamai, yeah.
Okay. Jamai Raja.
I'm his son-in-law because
Yes.
I'm married to his daughter. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
So it became sweeter and sweeter in a very
so
loving way. And it is difficult, you know, because if you know anyone who knows me, they know that really Brajanath, he very rarely shows emotions. Yeah.
Probably in India, the position of Jamai is quite high. Like, is always worshipped, sort of. So Gurudev gave you a very high position.
Well, but for me, you know, to come into, even in this life, I rarely show emotions. It is not my, although internally I have a lot of emotions, but I try to just process them privately and connect them. But externally, I am not so much of a, what is it, emotional person. Rarely, yeah. Now what happens, we were now going with Srila Gurudev everywhere.
before you went
Wait. Coming there. We were going everywhere in Western Europe, but before we started, we actually choose a date. Gurudev, I don't know what happened, whether it was a TT or not, but we choose to travel on the 5th of May, arriving in Holland on the 5th of May. And that day is Liberation Day from the German occupation in the Second World War. So whole Holland is free. They celebrate that we are liberated. So on that day, Gurudev arrived in Holland.
Wow.
It's a nice day. And what happened before that, before we left for the West, we tried to get the visas. So we had visa. In the meantime, devotees from Canada, devotees from America, from England, everyone became super enthusiastic. And they said, please make a plan. Gurudev should come to America, to California, to Texas, Vishnu Prabhu, to Canada. And Gurudev, now he became, wow. And at that time, they actually banned everyone from going to Srila Gurudev in 1996, the GBC of ISKCON. And Gurudev became like now on fire. He said, I have to jump. And
he said, woke up the sleeping lion.
now they don't know what happened. I was sleeping very nicely, yeah, in my crib. But now they wake me up. Now I will go everywhere, he says.
Sleeping lion.
Yeah. So we tried to get the visas for Canada and America. That worked. I left all the papers with Srila Gurudev. I went back to Holland to prepare. Then I got a phone call that England and Holland don't want to give visa. They have given visa to Gurudev, England embassy, but not to Naveen and to Pundarik, yeah, who are going to travel with us. And they were calling me on the phone, oh, what happened, and what to do. Then I said, don't worry, I will come back to India and I will speak with them and make sure that they should not have any reason to object, that you should get visa. So I came back to India, and then we went again to the embassy of England and Holland, and I put myself forward as guarantee. And then what happened, they had now a proper interview with someone who was able to understand, they could speak in English, and they could convince them in a proper way that it was impossible for Srila Gurudev to go without them. So then they got the visas, and now we were all set to go. So in Mathura on the 4th of May, we were ready. Mr. Somnath had sent his car, a Tata station car, to pick up Gurudev. Gurudev had no car, nothing, even up to 2004 or so. Or
no, Dear Krishna had a
way,
Dear Krishna. Yeah, he gave a small car, Dear Krishna.
He didn't have his own car. That was Dear Krishna's car.
Yes, he didn't have his own car.
He had his own car until 2004 or 2005 when we bought him a car. Yeah. So now Mr. Somnath sent the car and the driver. So after lunch, we go in the car, 4th of May. And 3 of us, Pundarik had gone ahead already, our luggage in the back. And then Gurudev said to me, you sit in the front next to the driver, and I sit in the back with Naveen. And I was thinking, what Gurudev, you should sit in the front, because the most important person, that is what we learn in Europe, they should sit in the front. In India, it is a little different maybe, but I wasn't aware of that. But still I thought that why Gurudev should sit in the back. But anyhow, I obeyed and I sat in the front. Then we drove off. And as soon as we were on the highway, the Agra-Delhi highway, I looked in the back and Gurudev was sleeping on the lap of Madhav Maharaj. And that was such a sweet view and observation that I thought, wow, it's like so sweet to be with, you know. And I was still kind of, you know, reserved. I had my reservation because it's still, I wasn't like fully opening up yet, but I was hopeful that now it's really going to happen. So Gurudev sleeping very nicely. After about 20, 30 minutes, he woke up and then he said, so we said, Brajanath, now what we're going to do, we're going to go to Western countries. He said, and we're going to do 4 things, he said. Remember that, he said. The first thing, I want to go to all the places, Gurudev said, where Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj had placed his lotus feet. I want to go there and roll in the dust of his lotus feet and take his mercy. Because without his mercy, he said, no one can be successful in prachar in Western countries. If anyone comes to the West, he says, and does not honor Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, they can never be successful in prachar. He is the, Senapati, the general, who has opened the whole field of Western preaching. And his ideas, his approach is ideal, he said. He oftentimes mentioned that. And he mentioned that in the end, when we were with Srila Gurudev and he started his own mission, he said, I want that we should be just like ISKCON, he said. There should be a GBC, like ISKCON, he said. But one thing we should not do, he said, we should not control anyone by administration. He said, we should control everyone by love and affection, he said. That is the only difference that I want, he said. Just like ISKCON, we should preach all over the world in an organized way. All should be united, and there should be a body. And under that body, all gurus who want to give initiation, they should obey that body, he said. There is no such thing, he said, that we can be independent, from each other. We should be like under an umbrella and take always the help of the previous acharyas and any ideal Vaishnavas that are present. involve them in our mission. So like that, it was Srila Gurudev's desire that whatever we were going to do in the West, yeah, it should be done under the guidance of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So he said the first thing, go to all the places where Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had placed his lotus feet. I will go there and roll in the dust, smear it all over my body, and ask his mercy. Yeah, that is what I want. The second thing he said, all the devotees who have become weak, who have lost their enthusiasm, for whatever reason, I want to again give them inspiration. And they should again be inspired and united with each other in the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, the third thing that I want to do is that wherever we go, in any place in the world, we may be in any one zone, that is ISKCON has so many zones. I want to respect the devotees who are taking responsibility there. Whether they like me or not, he said, I will respect them. This is the third thing that I'm going to do. And he said, and the fourth thing that I want to do, he said, I want to laugh a lot, he says. Yeah. He was very fond of laughing, Gurudev. He said, this is part of bhakti. In the spiritual world also, there is those who are expert at making Krishna laugh, especially Sakas, but also gopis, especially Vishaka. She is very expert in making
Prabhuji, there is a video where you are making him laugh so much. Radhika shared that video, remember?
Yes.
Talking about the bald head and you're laughing like anything.
Yeah, so nice.
Yes. So loudly you're laughing.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So these things.
And Didi was also there, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these things, Gurudev said, these are the four things he wants to do. And now many things are happening. But still I want to know, Ajay Prabhu, we can continue another day or what is your plan?
No, probably we can continue for another half an hour. It's good.
Okay, good.
Third thing you said is respect devotees, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They may not be favorable, but I want to respect them, Gurudev.
Oh, even if not favorable.
Yeah. And it happened many times, that devotees were not favorable towards Srila Gurudev. And then Gurudev said, don't disrespect them. He said, they are our family. They may say anything about me, he said, but I never think that they are criticizing me. They are like my children, he says. Like when you have a child, that Ajay Prabhu knows that very well. Then when they're very small, they pass urine and stool everywhere over your dhoti and saris. And
yes.
Father and mother, they never think, oh, the child is bad. Yeah. So Gurudev said, whatever they do, whatever they say, I see them like small babies. Yeah. I want that they should learn how to respect and understand what is bhakti really. So I never take that, and you should not make any criticism of them, Gurudev said. They are our family members. So this is a very deep lesson, which again I can just contest and share with all of you. As much as we develop our own Krishna consciousness, we will be able to respect all living entities, whether they are inimical or they are favorable. Yeah. It is not easy, but this is what Mahaprabhu is teaching us. Yeah. The more we learn to be connected with Sri Krishna by Harinam, by especially the shelter of Sri Guru, and knowing that we are not this physical body, that we are eternal servant of our Gurudev, praying and meditating like this, feeling that, oh, I am such a fortunate soul, and I am really, although I'm very insignificant, I am the most fortunate because Gurudev is my friend, Krishna is my friend, Vaishnavis, they are my friend, they are my family members. If someone doesn't respect me, it is not that I should become upset with them. There must be a reason for that, maybe my previous activities, or maybe that person is not in balance within themselves, but I should still respect that person. That is a very important lesson. Otherwise, we cannot chant the holy names. Yeah. So if I develop my own Krishna consciousness, automatically, that is what Gurudev teaching here. I will be able to respect all and overlook their shortcomings or anything that they are not maybe expert at. Don't judge them and don't criticize them or disrespect them. Hospital. So now we are going in the airplane in the night. Yeah. The 4th of May, we leave early morning, like just after midnight, and we arrive at 7 o'clock in the morning in Holland. So on the way, when we were in the airplane, Madhav Maharaj, Naveen Krishna Brahmachari, he is expert cook. Maybe some of you don't know that, but he can make anything, and it's Gurudev told to Madhav Maharaj and myself, he said, Brajanath, he cannot cook at all. He said, if he boils water, it will be burned, he said. And Madhav Maharaj, he said, even if he cooks stones, it will taste nicely, he says. So Madhav Maharaj, this time, Naveen Krishna Brahmachari, he had made some very nice dry khichdi with tomato chutney. That is Gurudev's favorite for traveling. So we had hot pot. That time, all these things were allowed still. We could take all these things on the plane. Nowadays, you cannot do that anymore. Unless you have a baby. But anyhow, Gurudev, we had a hot pot with dry khichdi and nice tomato chutney. And we flew economy. That time, I was not, it was the only flight we took economy. Yeah, but after that,
many years actually.
No, that was the only tour. That after that, Gurudev was traveling business class. So now in economy, but what we did, we made sure that Gurudev had 3 chairs so that he could lay down, relax, which was very nice. So now the time for prasadam was starting on the plane, and Madhav Maharaj was serving dry khichdi with tomato chutney with dates and tomato, very nice. And then what happened? The attendants in the plane, they were like looking and smelling, and they were looking, what is this? What is this? And then one of the attendants went to the pilot and said to the pilot, you must come. There is one Indian family, and I don't know what they are eating, but it's such a nice fragrance. So the pilot came. Then
KLM, was it?
KLM, yeah. And then they were asking, well, what is it what you are eating? And then I was replying to them, well, this is our own home cooking, and it is not just ordinary food. I said, it is very, very special. And they said, wow. And then they said, would you like to taste something? Yes. So then distributed some Mahaprasadam from Gurudev to them. They were so overwhelmed, This happened many times, when we were on the flight, and sometimes even flight attendants. One time they even took initiation. They were so...
Yes, I heard that.
So impressed by Srila Gurudev that they were already vegetarian and they were starting to chant now. So nice. So arriving in Holland, 7 o'clock in the morning. In the meantime, in Holland, the news was already spreading because I was a little... not famous, but everybody knew me because of my, my nature.
No, you were responsible.
No, but I was also in Namhata. So many devotees came to the airport, about 30 devotees.
Actually, the day before, Gurudev called me, and then he said, how are you doing? And I said, oh, Gurudev, we are preparing everything, and we are eagerly waiting for you to come. And to bless the country and bless our house, because at that time we had our own house. And interesting enough, in '93 when we met Gurudev, I was chanting in that house. We had a house, and I thought, oh, if Gurudev comes, if he would come in '93, there was not even a thought of Gurudev coming to the West. I thought if he would come, he would stay in that room. I make a bed like him, and like same bed as he has now, and then we will have Harikatha there, and this and that. And I was kind of daydreaming, about Gurudev coming to this place. And then 3 years later, he did come to that place. You can see how strong and that Gurudev fulfills all desires, you know. So he called me this day before and he said, so how's everything? I said, Gurudev, we're preparing everything and we are eagerly waiting to receive you in the airport. And he said, who's there? He said, I don't know anyone. He said, I only know Brajanath, Gopinath, Tungavidya, and yourself. Who else is there? I said, oh, there's so many. So when Gurudev came, he was so surprised to see so many devotees chanting, and like in the airport at that time we still could chant and make a big kirtan. And I remember when he came down, he was so happy, so pleased. And then we got him in a car in Gopinath's Chrysler. He had a very special car at that time. That was like a station car, wasn't it?
Yeah, an American.
A Chrysler. It was an American import car with red velvet cloth, you know, for the chairs, and it looks really pussy and fussy. So he went to that car compared to the cars at that time in India. And then Gopinath, right? Gopinath drove him to our place. And I remember that time there was a beautiful season for roses. So Tungavidya and myself, we collected roses from the rose farmers. And we had 3 garbage big bags full of roses. And then we made a whole carpet of flower petals from the parking lot to the front door. Wow. So all rose petals, beautiful. And then I remember when Gurudev came in, he sat down and he was greeting the deities. And that first talk, it's not transcribed, and I do have the copy. It's not a very good recording, but the first talk Gurudev gave, he was actually breaking out. He was so moved. And he was saying that actually by the mercy of my Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada, I came here. And he was thinking how Srila Prabhupada came by steamer. He had no money, only 40 rupees. And he came to a country where no one was there, just one person, I think, sent someone to send him to a family who was not even vegetarian. And in this condition, Prabhupada came all alone to the West to save the world. And Gurudev said, I came in this way and so many devotees were waiting for me. And he said, this is just the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and my Gurudev. You know, and he started actually crying. When you hear this recording, he broke up really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was very special. We actually had a house in the middle of nowhere. After spending many years in ISKCON in the temple, I told Vrinda, this is not working anymore. Yeah, let's move out. And somehow or other, we got a very nice house by Krishna's mercy. It's a whole story, but it was in
we had no money, even nothing.
We had nothing, but anyhow, we got it. Somebody helped us out, and we rented it, and we bought it with a 100% mortgage. It was in the middle of nowhere, and there was a nice little pukur with swans and peacocks and everything.
Wow. Yeah, we have peacocks.
And there were cows everywhere around.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's Holy Land.
Yeah.
I just heard today only his lecture is saying the cows everywhere, and it's not Holy Land, it's Holy Land.
Yeah, because when Gurudev went for the walk, it was so green, so many flowers, and then the cows, they were, because our neighbor had cows, and they were not used to people. But when Gurudev came, I remember the cows were running towards him. Running and mooing like this. And he was like, wow, so fatty. And then he asked, how much kilo? He said kilo, right? Liter, not liter. How much kilo milk they give? And then we said like 40 kilo per cow. He says, 40 kilo per cow?
Not everyone. But
not everyone, but some of them. Yeah. So he was really impressed with the black-white Dutch cows.
Ramananda, you were there at the airport at that time? No?
No. No. Your father was there, I think. Your father. Also,
no, also not.
That was the next time when he came back from America, I think. Then they came. Yeah.
So then what happened, like in the airport, 30 devotees, and Gurudev was crying when he saw that. He couldn't believe it, you know. So then coming in our home, which we tried to sell the building for a few years, but it didn't work. So now we understood it had to be for Srila Gurudev's programs.
Yeah.
The nice guest room also and guest facilities. So all the devotees stayed with us, about 20 or so.
No more.
Well,
30.
No.
There's no place in
20 stayed with us, and there were a lot of visitors. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So then so many people came and visiting Prabhupada disciples and other devotees who had been practicing Krishna Bhakti for many years, but no guru. And yeah, within the moments, they all wanted to take initiation from Srila Gurudev.
Mhm.
About 35, yeah, within 3 days, can you believe?
Wow.
And then, now the problem was we had some malas from India, but they were shipped to England, so we had no malas.
Oh.
Then I said, okay, let's make some arrangement with ISKCON because they have a shop, and in the shop you can buy malas. But of course, if I call them, they may have a problem. So I asked my friend to call them and ask them to select 35 malas for us. Anyhow, they found out that it was for me, for Srila Gurudev. And then they said, oh, we have to have a meeting with the GBC or the local management. Then I called them, I said, well, what's your problem? We are paying the same money that everybody else is paying. Yeah. What's your problem? Anyhow, somehow or other we got malas the next day from
an
Indian shop. And finally ISKCON also agreed. So we got the malas. And then it was a little bit of how to do the fire yagya. It was all improvising, but it was very nicely done. We didn't have grains, so we got the oatmeal from the shop. Yeah,
crunchy.
Yeah, and we had an open fire in the house.
Open wood fire.
Open wood fire. So that was like the fire pit, the yagya pit, and everyone throwing the oatmeal in there. And then they all did parikrama around the house 4 or 5 times, and all were initiated.
Nice.
And Gurudev was really, he was so happy. And we went in the morning, in the evening, throughout Holland to so many places to do programs. And I didn't know that Gurudev was like, you know, his physical health, there was some restrictions for his heart. So sometimes we had three programs a day. Anyhow, Gurudev went all the time. But then he asked me one evening, he said, please try to do only 2 programs a day, he said. Because driving everywhere and then going to another, so many devotees who wanted to receive Gurudev, and it was really, and also places. So that was a real beautiful experience.
So he stayed for 10 days in Holland, and then that was very successful.
Yeah,
I also was a little anxiety for my parents, because my parents knew the previous guru, who was nice person, but they didn't like him so much. So I was thinking now what to do, because I have another new guru. And so I told them that please come and visit my Gurudev, or my spiritual teacher, I was saying like this. And then, so I thought, okay, I hope everything goes well and I hope they like him. And then, so the early morning, it was Mother's Day, that's in May also. And Mother's Day is a special day in Europe. That the ladies who are mothers, they have a break. They don't need to do anything. They can just stay on the bed and they will be served that day.
Nice.
So early morning, I came to Gurudev and gave him some roses. I said, Gurudev, this is for you. He said, oh, very nice. I said, today is Mother's Day. And he says, oh, what does it mean? I said, well, that means that today you don't need to do anything. You just relax, and then you can just be served. And I said, that's the Mother's Day ritual. And I said, you are my mother, my father, you're everything to me, so that's for you. So then later my mother came and my father. And then when he saw my parents, and Prajna Prabhu introduced, oh, these are the parents of Vrinda Devi. And then he said, oh, and then he gave a garland. He just got a garland from someone, a beautiful rose garland. And he gave it to my mother. And he said, this is for you because it's Mother's Day. And
Nice.
you are my mother.
Oh, wow.
You're my mother. And my mother really at the spot, she melted at the spot, and she felt so charmed by him. And then later on, she said that, oh, you know, she kept the garland, and it was already dried up, and she said, I just was so enchanted because she also had a special dress she made herself, like an Indian dress. And then he gave another compliment, and then he said to her, oh, you have such a beautiful dress. And then my mother was like, oh, you like my dress? Like a little girl in front of him, spinning around. Oh, you like my dress? And then he gave a big hug to my father. And my father is not at all this type of hug person. So, but he was so charmed. So all my anxiety was just gone about my parents because completely Gurudev charmed them at the spot.
And actually, Vrinda's mother came after this many times to India.
5 times. She came
to
for
Parikrama.
Parikrama. 5
to,
times.
to
And
meet
then-
Gurudev?
Huh?
Yeah, he
He
met
came
Gurudev.
India to meet Gurudev again?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 times. Many times in festivals.
He really
when-
got charmed, eh?
Whenever Gurudev came to Holland or Italy, my mother came, and then later he gave her also initiation, and he
Oh.
gave her the name Nilam.
Oh, wow.
Nilam, and also my sister, she also got initiation, Hemalata, that's her name. So I was very blessed. Anyhow,
So nice.
continue.
So now we stop here today because now we are going to England. Yeah. And that's a whole new development in England. We can do another night, another evening, Ajay Prabhu. Then we
You are-
continue.
If you're tired, okay, Prabhuji, but we are okay. But if you want to stop here, it's your wish.
Cross the canal, otherwise you stay in Holland. At least go to
No,
England.
no. We should now stay, and the next time we arrive in England.
Gurudev has to stay in Holland so long.
That's good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good place.
Gurudev always said when you do the Bandhan Lila, don't keep Krishna bind up, you know, by Mother Yashoda.
Yeah, release him at least. Huh?
Release him, you know.
Yeah.
So release him. Anyhow.
Okay, thank you all for being there tonight.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Didi. It was really, really very nice. And we could go on and on like this, hearing such sweet Gurudev's Katha. And I noted down some points which you spoke. And first thing you said, first become Krishna consciousness. It really touched my heart. Like Gurudev always tells us to be Krishna conscious first, ourselves. And then you do whatever you have to do. Then he talked about his books. And then you are so much interested in pure bhakti, which is your search for pure bhakti. And one very interesting thing which you said, which I really loved, was previous acharyas are waiting to come into our heart and to protect our bhakti. This is really, really interesting, which you said. So we hope that someday all acharyas will come into our heart and protect our bhakti.
And our heart, Gurudev said, our heart will expand like a lotus.
Yes.
When we accept Sri Guru in our heart, then the whole parampara wants to be in our heart.
Yes.
And the heart will
That's a
expand.
very, very beautiful thought. And 5th May, you said Gurudev came on Liberation Day and he liberated everybody. Everyone was so happy and joyful. So what a divine arrangement for Gurudev. So beautiful. And then you said about 4 points, like he wanted to roll into Swami, all the places where Swami Maharaj went. So much respect for previous acharyas. Only a Mahabhagavat can show like this. Then you said about Gurudev ordered us to be like ISKCON, except that we should be controlled by love and affection. I hope this happens, and I hope we are all under one umbrella all the time, and we are all controlled by love and affection, not by administration.
Yes.
Yeah, very important point, Prabhuji. And then respect devotees even if they are not favorable. Yes, I think we should all try to follow this. I will try to follow it myself personally, if I can, to my best of my ability. Even if the devotees are not favorable, even if they are not good to you, you should try to respect them. This is what Gurudev said. And lastly, and most important, also laugh a lot. Yeah. And then he said about mercy of Prabhupada. Gurudev acknowledged mercy of Prabhupada and his Gurudev. For your first meeting, you described so nicely that he started crying. And this is how Mahabhagavats are. They're always so thankful to their Guru Varga and Prabhupada. I hope we can also be like this, how our Gurudev has shown us the way. Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was really very nice having you here and reminding us of Gurudev all the while. Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful services also. And we hope to follow your footsteps, and we should get some anubhuti of what you have. I know you have a lot more things to say. We will call you one another day also.
Yeah, call any other day, and don't follow at least don't follow my footsteps, but follow Gurudev's footsteps. Yeah.
No. You are part of Gurudev. You are right with him all the time. You are like a shadow.
I need your support and your friendship. Yeah. Otherwise, we cannot in any way be with Srila Gurudev. We need to be with each other, united.
Yes. I hope we all stay together and we are able to follow his teachings, and we are able to take his name far and wide to the whole world, so that everybody knows him through his books and lectures. Prabhuji are already doing it, and we all should try to help all the devotees who are doing it, and we should try to do it ourselves. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for allowing us to say a few things.
Thank you. And tomorrow we are going to have the same program, and we will have a family member of Somnath Prabhu, I think Didi, Madhurika Didi, and many more, 2-3 more people will come. So it will be interesting talk tomorrow also. Yeah. So join us at the same time, and I thank all the listeners who joined us today. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you.
Is it, Jai Prabhu, is it always in English or is it in Hindi mostly?
This is Prabhuji, mostly in Hindi, but if we have an English speaker, then we speak in English. Okay. Like today you are English, so we have to speak in English.
Okay.
But if somebody can speak Hindi, we would prefer to be in Hindi generally.
I understand.
Yeah, so we do every Monday to Friday. It's been 3 months now, and it's been going on.
Amazing.
Oh, beautiful.
Every day. Right. So after dinner time, every day, everybody sits and get immersed in thoughts of Gurudev.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So it's been really nice, yes.
Are you doing a recording also?
Yes, we are recording and it's live on Facebook. I'll send you a link. You can watch it again.
Okay. No, yeah, but I mean, it's nice to save all these memories. It's beautiful.
Yes. And they are going to be archived, I've heard. But anyways, it is there on the Facebook forever.
Yeah. It's unlimited, eh? Guru's glories.
Yes. All Guru's mercy and his glories. Rajnath Prabhu ki jai.
Gurudev ki jai. Some devotees ki jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Vanchakalpa Tarubhya.
Vesya kripa sindhubhya vacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo.
Jai.